Welcome to Enlightened Connections, a space for intuition, healing, and remembering what connects us. I'm Lisa Aston Michael. If you'd like to continue these conversations, follow on Spotify and stay with us. Welcome, everybody. Thank you once again for tuning in to Enlightened Connections. And today I have a very special guest. I'm joined by Samay Sam. He's a dog behavior expert, mindfulness mentor, and passionate nature lover with more than 15 years of experience working closely with dogs in natural environments. Sam has spent many years walking and observing packs of up to 35 off-leash dogs at a time, which has given him a remarkable insight into canine communication, behavior, and pack dynamics. His philosophy is that true dog training, and we'll just soften that word training because I know that he likes to refer to it more as a communication style, begins long before a problem ever appears through early socialization, sound habituation, preventative education, and reliable recall, helping dogs grow into calm, confident, and well-balanced companions. He's also the creator of the Sound Habituation for Puppies album. Oh, I'm so excited to talk about that. A resource designed to gently introduce puppies to everyday sounds. And it's available for free, streaming in 3 different languages. Sam brings a wonderfully optimistic and free-spirited perspective to his work, sharing the lessons he's learnt from years in nature with his dogs, and helping people build deeper, more conscious connections with the animals in their lives. Welcome, Sam.
Thank you, Lisa. Wow, what a wonderful intro. I feel like a rock star.
You are a rock star.
Thank you so
you're
much.
A total rock star in the doggy world and beyond. But firstly, I want to ask you, what does the name Samay Sam actually mean? Why did you choose that?
Thank you. So, I chose that name because I wanted to be first and then do things. And I chose that name because it reminds me of who I am. And then I can work with animals. Because when you are working with animals, this is my philosophy that the first thing I have to consider is I don't know. And I say this with the humility because in reality, how much do I know myself? I am just beginning to discover myself. At 51, I can tell you, I yet have probably 20% understanding of who this being is. And now I become a trainer and a behaviorist. That means now I give myself the permission to understand other beings. So by itself, it's it's humility. And what Samay means is time, and Sam is energy, because this is the only 2 things constant in life of Lisa, in life of our listeners, in life of every person: time and energy. Time we cannot control. It's the same tick, 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 tick passing away. Time is constant, but for us, it's just moving. But energy I can always control. That means same thing with my wife. Any problem? Of course, I don't know what she's thinking. She's a woman. I'm a man. I can only think with my man brain, which is always wrong.
You got that right.
Yeah. But if I come with the right energy of just being present, being in love, because what do you want to experience? You want to experience pleasantness in life. Pleasantness in mind is joy. Pleasantness in heart is compassion. Pleasantness in energy is ecstasy. So if I come with that energy, then I'm present to you. So the 2 things I want to be reminded always, anywhere, is time, energy. I cannot solve problems. I can come with the right energy to you. And that might help me better than coming with a wrong energy to you. So this is why I chose Samay Sam. And it's it was a deep thought that who do I want to be? And that's why Samay is time, Sam is energy. Samay is time in Hindi. And that's my name.
That's a beautiful description. And having looked at your website and the work that you do and how you connect with animals, not just dogs, it's primarily dogs that you work with, but how you connect with all animals. And it's interesting that you talk about time and energy because animals are always in the moment, in that moment in time. Perhaps they do have memory. Perhaps they do contemplate on things that may or may not have happened. Perhaps they do think about the future. Maybe, I don't know. I love how you said, I don't know. But primarily, they live in the moment. And of course, they are energy receptive beings, aren't they? They respond to energy. They may understand a few words of language, English language or any language that we humans have created, but primarily they respond to the language of energy. So if we understand the concept of time and energy, I think we can better understand the dogs in our lives, the animals in our lives.
Yes.
Would you agree with that?
I would 100% agree. And it's any animal, any being. I think it's just a joy to be alive. It's so precious, life. And I I really these are just the two things we have with us constantly, and that will determine how we look at life. So with animals, obviously, you'll be reminded every single day. You'll learn that you're not that more interesting than a squirrel. you know my dogs remind me that each and every day I get this master class that the squirrel is more beautiful looking than me on any given day. So sometimes my wife might think that, but I hope not all the time.
That
So,
is so true. That is so true. They're just beautiful in their,
yeah,
they're perfect in themselves. And you're right. No matter what we do, or how famous we are or not, or how wealthy we are, or how poor we are, or how short or tall, they don't see any of that. It doesn't
no,
matter. It's what the essence of us is. It's
yeah,
our kindness, our love, our empathy, our compassion, our being in the moment with them and respecting them as fellow beings, which I think is becoming more and more part of the human consciousness. We are beginning to open up more to animal consciousness, to the understanding that they're not just inhabitants on this planet that are in our way, but they
yes,
have every right to be here and do their thing as much as
exactly.
we do, if not more. At least they contribute to the planet, which is a far cry from from us most of the time. But I want to swing back a little bit to
Hmm.
the work that you do. I followed your story and how you started off with two dogs, and you were concerned because they were on leash, and you really wanted to understand them more, and as your relationship with dogs grew, your household of dogs grew, ended up a dozen, and at some point you actually reached having 35 dogs off leash, and through the forest, through the snow, through the parks, through everywhere. And, I'd really like to learn from you. You said that the one thing that really struck you was that their need for freedom, not that dissimilar to ours.
Yeah.
How did your understanding of them, of dogs, grow and blossom from being part of their pack, from being part of their freedom?
Mm. I think it's, and this is a right place to talk about it because in an animal world, I would be more talking about behaviors and training, but it was not that. I was not knowing about training. I was not knowing about behavior. What I was knowing is me. And I ran away. I was escaping from the circumstances I was in when I came to Canada. I had a childhood which I would like to forget, but I understand it was there to make me all I am today. So I understood the despair in the dogs which were labeled, especially the ones which were showing me frustration, anger. I could quickly see that changing the environment and acceptance is what they needed more than anything. And this was just a personal relationship. So I have countless stories of when the dogs at first wanted to attack and do that. And when we started walking outside, it was seamless. It was not even a thought in my mind that it's not going to go well. And I saw that oneness. It was just oneness when I was walking in the forest. And that time I was single. So we used to walk for 4 hours and just get lost in the day. And there was times when we were walking at this place and we are not supposed to walk in some parks, so the park officials would pass by and we would just sit and wait and not a dog would bark. And there was nothing I could do if they barked, but just because I was quietly sitting and waiting, they would do that. And I realized how much connection we have. So before training it, of course, then I went to zoo conferences and understood more about animal behavior and tried to do the training part, etc., more because I wanted to know more about animals. But even before that, my only thing was I accept you, and who doesn't like freedom? which which person, I'll give you 1 billion, 100 billion, whatever it is you want, and I tell you, do as I tell you to do. Oh, you'll revolt at some point of time. You'll say, take this money back. Because the essence of life is to experience. Nothing is more than this. There's no bigger reinforcer. Money, food for dogs. No, they don't need the reinforcer. The biggest reinforcer is you are free. You expand to as much you can be. And this is what I wanted to be. Like you can see culturally, I come from a very box culture. And all my life is about taking out these labels, the filters, and any filter, if I say I'm Indian, I say I'm Canadian, it's wall. Because if I want to be cosmic, I am just a being. So are you. This is connecting for me. So it is that which was very, I don't know, the essence what I wanted. And I just felt that they will understand this. There's nothing more to it. For example, you walk somewhere and if you're falling and I touch you, you will know this touch is to support. But if I touch you with an intention of, touching you as a woman, you'll know that intention. And that is it. This is that invisible line we all know. We all know that it's just in all of us.
Mm.
That started my work. And yeah, the day I realized I have 35 off-leash dogs, because now you're in your mind. Immediately there's the disconnect. Oh, panic.
Yeah.
More eyes. You have to watch what will happen. No, just calm down and trust. And if something happens, you are going to grow out of it. Trust that process. Trust the connection process. Trust who you think. Because when you're panicking, there's fear. Fear is disconnection. And that's what you are proceeding. Because if you are connected with them, you'll never feel fear. You'll feel oneness. Yeah, sorry.
No need to apologize. I'm listening, hanging on every word that you're saying. I've been noticing myself, if I become more aware of my energy, my dogs, and I have 2 poodles, my dogs change is not the right word, adjust to me. And by letting them be who they are, I've been doing more of that, just letting them be who they are. And I've been noticing the different character, the different personality. One is a healer, one is a comedian. And they're both very sure of who they are. They don't have to try to be somebody else. They don't even bother trying to be who they're not. And I think that's a really beautiful lesson that we can learn from dogs. By the same token, I noticed that you mentioned in your video on your website that you're not really a great supporter of the word training. It's really more about communication and understanding. And when you've got so many dogs any dog off leash, I feel it's really important to ensure that you're not trying to make them what they're not, but at the same time, they do need a sense of direction, of leadership, of feeling safe and secure.
Yeah.
And one of the things that you mention is something called individual impulse control. And I was curious about that description. Can you explain what that is?
Sure. Many things you've question is good. First is, yes, I never doubt that my job is to bring the dogs back safely. Okay. It's my head on the line. Finally, it's that. So as a leader, you have to be a leader. So first, I describe what is a leader. Stability is one of the biggest factor a leader should emit. That means, am I stable for them continuously? Am I giving the right kind of direction and guidance to them? Am I understanding the weakest chain? For example, we have dogs. My own dog now is 14 years old. He yet wants to come on walk every day. So he has his older friends and they'll walk behind. So if I'm crossing the water, I have to make sure that the smallest dog and the oldest dog can cross from that running water. Why? Because if I don't keep an idea of that, they have no other option but to revolt and walk away from the path which we have chosen. So, this is what leadership means. Are you taking care of everything surrounding? It's like elephants. Elephants have a matriarch, which is female, and they rely on her to find the water. And when she's leading, she will always take care of the new baby elephants. So they have to all wait as a group. So they will cover distance, and at night, they make sure they are where there is water. Now, this is what leadership means. Leadership doesn't mean that, okay, now I have to probably take a stick and start, arranging you all or something. No, that's not leadership. That's, I don't know what to say. Anyways, so now working in a group is same like men. Okay. When men's night is out, we talk shit, everything. We talk things which we might do, but we'll never do. So we talk, we talk, yeah. Usually,
True.
I like, let's say today, I might have maybe a half a glass of drink at the most. But if I am with guys, I'm talking boisterous stuff and all that. It's just how the behavior will function with a lot of spirited young animals, and that is normal. So I am like a coach on the football field that peep, calm it down. Now, instead of control thinking of it as a crowd, I know the animal individually and which one's going to do what first and which one's going to react first. So this is where my focus is. So I know as soon as there is a squirrel or something, everyone's going to be excited, everyone's going to bark and go. That's okay. That's normal behavior. But I'm going to call out for that one which I know has a tendency of then not coming back. So that is where my focus will be, because that is just the one. It's not 35 going away and not coming. It will always be the one or two. So if I can just manage those one, two, I have the control on all of them. So this is what I mean, that individual control has to be there. And the best way of control is coordination, communication, acceptance. I understand how you are. I'm going to just align my environment with you. I'm just going to do things the way you like. An example, I know when they come out of the van, they'll be full of gusto, and they are 35 minutes. They are in the van till we get to the forest. I know now they are charged up. As soon as I open the door, they all want to run. So I have to make sure the ground where they run, it's properly laced so they don't fall down. And secondly, I had a border collie. He's gone now. This dog would first fly. So if I point in the direction with a ball, he's going to go in that particular direction and all the other dogs are going to follow. What am I doing? I'm just using the setup. I'm using the environment. I'm using their natural abilities to get what I want without being known as the leader. No, it's very easy for that. The second thing I realized, especially when I started walking in this particular forest, that the dogs will not come back to the van if it's less than 90 minutes. That means the punishment was more than the reinforcers. This is how the trainers and behaviorists will talk. What is a punishment? Something which you don't like. So the van is, it's not positive, it's punishment because they are all locked up there. So after 90 minutes, if I walk back to the van, all of them will get in on their own. No problem. If it's before 90 minutes, I have to ask, okay, come back, please. I have to get the ball or something. So that means this is leadership for me. Do you understand what makes them happy? Because if I give you everything you want, you'll happily work for me. There'll be never a problem between us. So this is what I mean. Does that answer your question?
It does. Thank you for that beautiful explanation. And speaking of elephants, let's just catch that, what you mentioned back a little ways. We were talking before about the intuition of elephants before we started this recording, this episode. And you have a beautiful picture behind you of elephants. And I love elephants. I think they're a very powerful and wisdom-filled being and so gentle. They kind of remind me of what we should be. Tell me about the intuition of elephants.
Yes, and this comes from the book of Lawrence Anthony. And it was not his first book. He wrote the book, The Elephant Whisperer. Now, there are few people I would like them to come in my dreams because he's passed away and he's one of them.
Mm-hmm.
I hope he does come. I mean, sometimes I see different forms, but he's one of the person I would like to really have a talk with. And he was in South Africa, and Tula Tula is the name of his conservation land. And he got 7 elephants which were ready to kill him, which really didn't like him. Nana, the female lead elephant, matriarch. And through his energy, no training, no understanding of behavior, just understanding of energy. I'm present for you, you know. He changed that, and today Duck Sanctuary the elephants are the major attraction of that place. In fact, I have to be volunteering there. So in his book, he wrote about the intuition of elephants and how he would connect with them, through thoughts, etc. And one of the things he noted was when the North and South Sudan fight, the war happened in Africa. As soon as the war was supposed to break out, the elephants migrated out of South Sudan. Now, that could be a coincidence because probably assembling of weapons and etc. and elephants were going. Now, the biggest thing which is amazing is when the peace treaty was signed, immediately the elephants started coming back to the same place where they were from. So how did these elephants know all this? And this is intuition. When you are connected to peace, this is what everyone knows. You come in peace with somebody, you just be there. And I'm a father today. And my son, 4 years old, he's a sweetheart, but he's a challenge. Walking 35 dogs is piece of cake. As super fine. He's like, okay, I'll knock your head. And then I just be that this is an energy being. All he needs is acceptance of who he is. That's it. Nothing, there's nothing to understand. How much do I understand anything that I have to now understand such a magnificent tool? And that's the part of training. Why do you think you can better somebody by teaching them things? It's it's
No.
a concept. You cannot better anyone by teaching them. You can better people by accepting who they are. This is life. You be the flower which you are. I love you the way you are, not as way I want to be. Otherwise, I would be working on myself more.
That is so true. But, it's part of being human, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah,
We're raised to feel in a controlled environment, to fit into the picture. You can't be a round peg in a square hole. You can't be we start off that way. We definitely start off that way. And, they always say that children know everything. Children
exactly.
know everything until they go to school, and then they're funneled into learning
Yeah.
subjects. I spent most of my time in music, learning the recorder, which has never come in handy in my life, ever. I'd rather, sit there and gaze up at the stars and wonder about the beings that exist outside of our solar system and our galaxy. That was my curiosity. But one didn't discuss that at school. And we're funneled into packages, and then we start competing. We start finding faults and weaknesses with others because we are believing that we are full of faults and weaknesses, and we're not. We're just not allowed to believe that. And I think that's why people are so drawn to being with animals. So many people are drawn to the comfort of being with animals because you can be yourself. You can be completely yourself.
Yes.
There's no effort. You can drop the mask. If we could all accept each other for who we are and what we do, then of course we would have peace.
Ex-
But we have egos. We tackle with ego. The human has the ego, and that's the
yeah. But
that's,
it's exactly what I went through when you're saying that, it just reminds me of who I was because I had a low self esteem. And I say that with, oh my God, why would anyone do that today where I'm thinking now? And that's because I remember my mother used to tell me that I'm dark. So my mother used to tell me, you look like my servant, walk a little far away from me. And I had this way, I used to find myself like not beautiful, kind of best not seen. And once I started working with dogs, something blossomed in me that the way they accepted me and all my owners, the dog owners, they treated me with so much value. And I started seeing something more divine in me. And then, of course, there's this one poetry by Marianne Williamson, that it's not your darkness, it's your light. And I worked on that a lot. And there's another phrase which your mind is a center of divine operation. I wrote it for maybe a good 1-2 years every day. I yet have it. And that changed that. No, you are just, this is given. This is a tool which you are in. You have to accept that. Because if I don't accept myself, that means I won't accept you as you are. And then I'm staying on the surface. On the surface, maybe you are whatever, but with dogs, no. Some dogs, they don't like you, they go straight and they are not making excuses. They just say, I don't like you, and they want to bite you. That is authenticity. That is what is there. They are just being themselves. So, this was all that discovery that, oh my God, you're just a beautiful being. You're too stuck on your outside appearance, nothing's going to come out of it.
yeah. I hear you on that one. I won't go down that rabbit hole. But can we talk for a minute about your Sounds Habituation album for puppies? Oh,
Yeah.
I just love that. I love that.
Thank you.
Why did you create it? I guess it's a pretty obvious answer, but
Yeah.
were you just sitting there one day and thought, hmm, what can I do for puppies? Or how can I best help puppies? Or did it just come to you? And how did you create it?
So that's a nice. Yeah, it's about that one. What would I like to give? Because life is to give. It's the giving which is the pleasure. Because so many times we have some good news and you can't share it. It's just going to kill you inside. You want to share things. The good is to share always. Sometimes we share the bad also. Sometimes I find I'm happy outside, and when I come to my house, I'm a grumpy guy. And then I tell myself, oh, this is what my wife signed up for. I mean, it's not like your boss, you see a grumpy boss because he's paying you. But
Yeah.
I'm not paying my wife to see me and I'm grumpy. It's not accepted. So I said, okay, I have to change my energy because somebody's opted to stay with you. At least, the least. So it's how we do things, and I'm like, really, my God, she signed up for this. Oh no. So sorry, but I yeah. So the sound CD, I said and I'm called for consultations a lot, and I always like to do not focus on the problem. The problem's just a surface of something going on within that creature somewhere. It's unhappy. And happy person is always happy no matter what happens. You tell a happy if I if I'm holding a cup of coffee and you bump into me, what falls off? Coffee. The question is not that why it fell off. Question is what was inside the cup. If the cup was having milk, milk is falling off. If the cup is having honey, honey will fall off. And that's who you are. Somebody bumps you and you take out coffee, there's coffee in you. If you take out honey, there's honey in you. If I'm walking and somebody bumps into me, I'll turn around and say, oh, that was nice. Another side also, please. So that's who you are. So, anyways, with the animals, sorry to go off track a lot.
That's
Uh,
fine.
the There were so many dogs, especially one was Fuji. She made me think of that a lot. There were thunderstorms and there were days when there would be firecrackers. This dog would stress. And when I say stress, she runs into things, like runs. She was a Rhodesian Ridgeback, so it's hard to hold her when she's stressed and she's moving. I need my full force to hold her. But even with that, she's running and banging into things. And I was like, we tried the thunder jacket, we tried the scent, pheromone scents, we used to dose her a lot. But even to dose her, now we have to know one day in advance when the thunderstorm's coming. Otherwise, it's too late. So, what is the root of this? And why are my dogs? Some dogs are not bothered at all. They are sleeping through the thunderstorm, no movement at all. So that made me realize that during the socialization window, if they are exposed to certain sounds, they will not have this reaction. It's just too late. For example, I might be afraid when I was a child, but when I grew up, I read the newspapers, I read the television book. Somebody told me it's the thunderstorm, the light is coming, and doom, 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 and that's it. So I understood the logic behind it. So I can tell myself it's okay. But the dogs, no, they were afraid then, they are afraid now. And it's just getting more panic. So for those reasons, that was my main idea to make the sound habituation album. And this, thanks to my wife, we put it on all platforms around the world as a free gift to anyone who has an animal or a dog. Because the best thing in this album is, as a trainer, again in inverted commas, I don't know what I train, but I'm a trainer. I always say if I could train, I'll train myself first. If you ask my wife, he's untrainable, she'll say. She tried a lot, but sometimes he is deaf also, he doesn't listen. So
She sounds like a very smart woman. Oh,
So,
dear.
as that trainer in commas, there is the time given when there is a thunderstorm or a doorbell ring or a child playing. There's a time given so you can work with your puppy. And this was the important missing part I saw. Otherwise, you could play any sounds on the YouTube. But this, in the album, this time is given to the people so they can work with the animal and they can say that, oh, let's do this and this will habituate. And more importantly, this tool is about awareness. Okay, you can always come on the website, Samay Sam, and ask a question that, Sam, I have a puppy. What's important? I always tell people don't focus on training, focus on socialization. Training you can do later on. Any day training is okay, but socialization is the thing.
Mm.
And think of it like a tree. What are you focusing in the tree? On the apples or the first getting the tree rooted well? The roots, where they are, how you're laying the ground, how you're taking care that there is no, what do you say, air left in the roots so it grows properly without ice forming, especially here in Canada. And
Mm.
this is socialization. You are just making the animal complete to the environment, animal understanding that environment, that this is where I'm living. Training is nothing. You have a piece of meat. Of course, the animal is going to listen. It's not stupid. They're going to do things for you. What do you think? if you if you come with a steak, even I'll say, hello, Lisa, how are you? Can I sit here on the table? You didn't train me. I sat on the table. You served me the beef steak. I'm super happy. You'll think I'm trained. I'll say thank you. So that's it.
I get it. I get that. That's awesome. Excuse me. I'll have to have a listen to that album. You know, that's transferable. You took me back while you were speaking about the different sounds and socializing. When I was a kid, I grew up in a flat or an apartment. I don't know what you call it there, but
Hmm.
and we would have some fierce thunderstorms and lightning, and I was terrified. And my mum would tell me when I was a kid, she said to me, there's nothing to be frightened of. She said, when you know what thunder is? I said, no. She said, it's the giants up there playing 10-pin bowls. And when you hear a lightning crack, that's when they've hit the 10 pins.
Oh, nice.
So I started visualizing from that point onwards. When I hear thunderstorms and lightning, I'd see these giants up in the clouds playing 10-pin bowls, and they struck it. And instead of being scared at the lightning crack, I would cheer. And that took away my fear.
Yeah.
And even as an adult, when I hear thunderstorms, it's like, oh, cool, that still comes back to me. So I can understand how socializing the little ones so that they get used to those sounds. Obviously, you can't tell them it's giants and 10-pin bowls, but something similar, you can socialize them.
You
Absolutely.
can influence their energy by
Yeah.
taking the time. Not necessarily they'll have food, but because you're taking the time to sit with them, communicate, it's okay. That's what is it for. So it changes their perception. It changes their energy of that particular thing.
You often speak about prevention-based systems. We've been talking about prevention-based all the way through. You know, what do you think that most people or most leaders of their pack, you know, why do they default to reaction? How can we get people to shift?
Yes. Now, see, that's a deeper question, which why we created this prevention series. Okay, because somewhere I understood that people are who they are. It's already busy. When we ask most people, like most of the people, why they got a dog, because somewhere they are wanting to live the American dream, which is the kids and the dog. But in reality, of a child and active puppy is too much energy for anyone to handle. But we want that. We want something. We don't understand the steps to things, but we always will want something. Oh, it looks good. So people are stressed. A lot of times they are stressed. They have that little time and they want to do the most of it. And the connections are missing. Now, this is a longer thing to actually work on this because one thing I know that when I'm walking, I know when the walk might start. And that too is also very efficient because this today was the Easter Monday and my clients were home. So we were talking, we were chatting, and this is, I don't consider myself a dog walker. I consider myself a relationship builder. I want to know how your life is, what's going on within you. Because what's going on within you is the same thing what's going on within me. It's only different labels, different names. Anyone and everyone has stress, everyone has chaos. People in F1, if I drive a car and you're giving me 50 million, I won't stop laughing for the rest of my life. But you come second and you are stressed. That's, I cannot relate to that concept. But everyone has their own level of stress in life. It's everyone has that. It's not about the money. It's not about the relationship. It's about life having the law of polarity. Where there's day, there will be night. But I'm a human being with my big ego. I want everything to go well. So that is stress. What is stress? When you don't accept reality, resistance to existence, you know, existence will have all this. So, in the law thing, will I be able to convey all this to the clients slowly with time? What can I give you now? The quick success which you see concretely to control, because all humanity is about control, and all headaches, all heartaches are about control. This is the thing. When I was young and I don't care, the girls will run after me because I'm like, okay, carefree. But now, if I hold my wife tightly, she wants to run away. It's just an example. So it's that the more control you have on a person, the more the person will want to run away from you. This is the misery of humanity which we are in right now. So, anyways, I can't explain this theory. What can I do? I can teach you how to call your dog back to you. That much I know. Why? Because I've been doing this with 35 dogs in a forest every single day under different environments, situations. So, this I can give you the quick tip. I can also give you a quick tip that when you open the door, the dog is running, bolting out. Okay, that's the nature. He was curious. What is going outside? Inside, you are the boring you. He doesn't want to see your face. So, you know, even I want to run out of the house sometimes seeing my own face. So,
I think my husband feels
yeah,
the same way. I open the door, he's gone.
it's there. Okay, what do we do?
The
Can we
dog
make,
stays.
yeah,
He
can the
bolts.
dog be happy in one spot sitting for something which he likes?
Mm.
Because they have routine. You are just doing that. You understand the pattern and then you interrupt the pattern with something nice. That is important. Then, why is nice important? Because otherwise, you'll always have to force. I can stop you with force, but what happens when the force is not there? You won't stop. But what if I stop you with niceness? What is McDonald's? Niceness. Horrible niceness. People go drive through. One cup of ice cream is $1. Let's eat it. Spoil my health. So this is how you can use the niceness understanding. So this is the prevention courses which we are doing, focusing. So it brings immediate, easy relief to you. And in all my courses, the mistakes I make, I leave it saying, this is the mistake we are making, and I move on. Because today, somehow we think we should be perfect. Nothing is perfect. Nothing can be perfect. We are only trying to get to a level of being better than yesterday. That is life. Today, I want to be a better husband than yesterday, better father than yesterday, better human being, better present. But I will not be 100% good today. It's not a possibility. I can be my best today. And in my training classes, when I'm in the videos, I tell my wife, we don't edit it. We keep it because you are like me. I'm like you, a human being who will make errors. What do we do practically? Move on. And it's just short, practical. steps. That's it. That's what we are trying to give people, to really be easy about things, you know. So that is the long answer.
That's a good answer. Like, and in a nutshell, it's, happy people, happy animals.
Yeah.
Contented people, contented animals. But, I think it's the other way around. I think they're way ahead of us. They've got it pretty much sorted.
Yeah.
We come along and upset the whole box and
One
dice.
thing, one thing I always say is, when my dogs get up in the morning, they are ready to conquer the world. And I tell them, let me conquer my coffee first. then, then we can conquer the world.
I hear you. Try waking up with 2 poodles on your head in the mornings. That's always a laugh. Like, they wake up and it's, we're here, let's go, let's do it. And I'm sort of one eye open and, oh my God, struggling to get out of bed with 2 dogs on my head. But, Sam, we could talk for a long, long time about animals and crazy human beings. But I think the most important thing is for people to look at what you do, have a look at the work you do. It's absolutely exquisite. I mentioned to you outside of the recording that when I visited your website, I walked into it like a flower opening. I just went into this world of Sam, and what I saw, and probably even more importantly, what I felt was it's extraordinary. I hadn't actually felt that before when I'd looked at anybody else's website. Yours was like entering a world of something. You've managed somehow to create that energy, bring the animal's energies into your website. I don't know how you did it, but you've done it.
My wife, all credit goes to my wife, and I think,
Well,
she's all my reasons to be such a sweetheart. She's a doll.
Well, if she's done this, she's really nailed it. Really nailed it. And I want people to go and have a look at your website at Samay Sam. It's SAMAYSAM.com, Samay Sam. And there's loads of information there. There's tips and free information there for people who may be wondering what they can do to better themselves for the betterment of their own animals. There's so much there. There's courses, there's free things. They can ask you questions. You're also on YouTube at the Samay Sam, like the as in the Samay Sam. And before you go, I always ask my guests one question, and that is, if you had one message for the world right now, what would your message be?
Be all you have to be and want to be, I think. It's your one life. I think the biggest miracle in life is your eyes are open. When they close, everything is closed down. So, whatever you want to be, be all you want to be. I mean, it's I'm high on life. The joy of life, there's nothing to beat that. There's nothing more. You are alive. That's a joy itself. That's it. That would be my message. Just be high on life, not anything else.
That's a beautiful message. Thank you so much. Samay Sam, thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. And your beautiful humor. I just love it. The lightness of life. Thank you so much.
Thank all listeners. I thank Lisa. Thank you so much. And to all our listeners, give Lisa a 5-star rating, because she can then do the beautiful work she's doing. I mean, she's in Australia. I'm a lost Indian in Canada. So
I think that's a good title for a book.
And we met. And this is the beauty of you listeners, of allowing her and gracefully giving her that ratings of her being what she could do her best about. So thank you to our listeners. Thank you to Lisa.
Thank you so much, Sam. That's just beautiful. Thank you. Bye for now. Thanks for listening to Enlightened Connections. Make sure you're following the show on Spotify or wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. If this episode meant something to you, you can support the show by buying me a coffee. The link is in the description, and I read every message. And don't forget to leave a quick review on Apple Podcasts. It only takes a minute and makes a huge difference in helping others find the show. Until next time.